The Kearney R-1 School District Board of Education meeting. Pledge allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Meredith Cole.
Here.
Brian Ham.
Here.
Dan Holloway.
Here.
John Kern. Reese Schweitzer. Here. Susan Morman.
Here.
Darlene Bailey.
Here. We have a quorum. Need to adopt or amend the agenda.
Move that the agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All in favor? We have no public comment?
No public comment.
We have no public comment this evening. Recognitions.
School's done.
We have Dogwood, the Respect Campaign recipients.
Good evening, Laura Gonzalez from Dogwood. I have some pretty special kiddos with us this evening. So in correlation with our Respect campaign, as well as some of the traits from your Portrait of a Graduate, our 4 counselors put together character traits that your buildings are working on every single month. Everything from lessons from the counselors to things they do in the library as well as classrooms. So for the month of August and September, we focused on respect. And the definition your elementary schools define as respect was one that the counselors asked our kiddos last spring, they asked all 4 buildings, what does respect mean and look like to you? And so your counselors put together a definition, and that is respect is acting in a way that shows you care about someone's feelings and well-being. And at Dogwood, in the month of August and September, these kiddos are your grades 3 through 5 students who absolutely exhibit respect every single day when they're in our building. So their teachers felt it was really important to recognize them at our monthly assembly, and I felt it was really important to bring them to you to recognize how hard and how wonderful they treat other people in our building every day. So we have Leah, 5th grade. We have Mason. No.
Yeah, we have certificates, but they're not going to be
I have certificates.
Excellent.
How about that?
Abby Haynes. Next is Colton Watson. Mason Lammers. Laura Gibson. Is not here. Lyric Graves. Lyric. Human. Congratulations. Sydney Robinson. Congratulations. Rig Hum. Congratulations, Rig. Leah.
Parents, I'm gonna get a photo, and then you guys can get your photo, all right? Awesome, big smiles, and 3, 2, 1, smile. 3, 2, 1, smile, perfect, good job.
Come on, parents. Come on up and get photos.
Congratulations, all of you. Thank you for being with us. Next, we have our school spotlight, Kearney Middle School.
Yep, so for Kearney Middle School, we have our Casey Box crew. Last year, had some staff come to me and say, we'd like to compete in this, can we do this? What's it gonna cost? And so we said, yeah, and they kind of ran with it. And they did a fantastic job. I'm not gonna steal their story. So I think Ms. Mendel is going to come up. She was a sponsor last year. She is also doing it this year. She's got a little presentation and got some damaged goods and some robots that did some damage as well. So
a little bit about Box Casey. It's an organization that out of Kansas City that middle school and high school and even college kids do teams, and then they design and build a robot, and then they battle in an arena to the death, pretty much, right? And so that's what we did. We started off with a team of 12 kids, 11 kids, and we had 2 robots that we took to competition. So I have 4 of my students that are here today, and they're going to share a little bit about that experience. So I'm going to give it over to Eden and Max and Jordan and Lydia.
Okay, so we have 2 robots here. One of them is the chosen one, so we have 2 teams. 2 of them that kind of co-worked together to help build robots. We had a kind of a mentor come help us with our stuff, and Jeff, he was a like kind of not well, yeah, kind of an expert in like robotic building and all engineering and all that.
He
And
was
so
a past,
yeah.
He was a past judge for
Oh, good.
for the competition.
So yeah, he really helped us out.
He had a lot of knowledge
Yeah.
on what bot to build.
Yeah, so all of our robots started with a base like this right here, and then from there we could kind of choose what type of bot we wanted to build, from like a salad spinner type bot, which is one the design we kind of chose for the chosen one, or like different. What was your design?
It wasn't necessarily. We combined different
Yeah.
designs.
So the first part, most of it's all about like the creativity of what you want your like what you want to see in your robot, and like what you want it to do in the arena. And there's pretty much no limits on what you can do. And
No fire.
yeah, no fire, no fire, no explosions,
No small
fire. So yeah, we have all that. And here is the chosen one. There is the other one, Wally.
Me and Jordan are Wally and
We are
Lydia.
So you guys can kind of tell me a little bit about Wally.
So for Wally, we're just gonna do a basic design where our saw blade was at the front, and the smaller the saw blade, but the less teeth, the better. So that's why it's just small, simple. There's not much to ours. We got knocked out of the tournament pretty early because our driver board broke, and we didn't have an extra one. So, and we couldn't start it. So we had to forfeit.
One of the main things we wanted to include in our design is to make sure it would work when it was flipped over, because that was one of the things that kept a lot of people out. So it can be flipped over and it'll be fine.
It just drives backwards. So
Yeah.
you
You have to drive backwards.
You have to practice driving opposite.
Yeah, you
Okay.
guys.
So yeah, this is chosen one. We chose a type of bot that was supposed to have its razors spin at high speed. So you can see they can do now, but because this is all about what we can improve on, we could not get the entire thing to spin. We tried a couple of measures and got a little bit desperate, but,
Yeah, we were
but
short.
the bot ended up, yes, this ended up not being able to spin, but we were still able to make it pretty far into tournament.
Yeah.
Fifth place, and so we had our robot. We had the same exact design as Wally, as if the robot gets flipped. Yep.
Oh, yeah, we have
Yeah.
same internal
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so same internal thing, that's what the preparation, we would design a base to use, and then after that we build kind of the infrastructure of the side of the robot that you wanted to do. And so we have the same kind of working thing where if your bot flips over, it can still drive, it's just inverted controls. So our bot was more of a rammer, we wanted it to be, like a spinning saw.
we were short on time. We like spent like 3-hour practice one time. I don't know, a long time on it one time because we couldn't get it to spin and we were trying everything and it was like 2 days before the competition and so we just had to end up going with a rammer bot. It ended up working.
I'd say the biggest struggle was our time crunch, which is why we're starting way earlier this year. And it was our first year, so we didn't really know what we were doing. And we were the only middle school team too.
Yeah.
And all the other teams had a lot of more
They had sponsors.
sponsors, better tools,
Yeah.
and just their robots were a lot nicer than ours.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had a lot more
Like a
money.
lot of our parts are just
Yeah.
Most of the
Yeah.
infrastructure, this was 3D printed except for all the metals on this and stuff. So yeah, that was the outside of that competition day. Went pretty smooth. I mean,
When we got to the
Yeah.
competition, it was kind of a shock because like seeing all these teams with like whole tables of fancy equipment and stuff, it was so cool.
like
And-
some of the robots were, I wouldn't say pushing the limits, but they were like really surprising to us. Like we look at our robot, we'd be like, okay, then we look at this robot with like eight saw on the outside spinning at like
Yeah.
1,000 RPM.
The first bot we went against was made out of carbon fiber. We won though.
On the table next to us was K-State.
They had a
And
3D printer.
they had a full Craftsman toolbox and they had Pelican cases for their robots. But what was really cool to watch was we were the only middle school. There were 25 high schools and then 8 to 10 colleges.
Yeah.
The colleges were separate from us, but we were with all of the high school kids. Is that our kids made friends really fast. Everyone wanted them to succeed. And so at one time, I think we had kids from 6 different schools and different teams trying to get their robots going and get them back into the tournament. It was a really neat experience to be a part of that community.
I would say another bigger limit is that of everything, your bot cannot exceed 15 pounds, was it?
Yeah.
When you get to the
yeah.
competition, you'll go in there and there'll be inspectors, they'll put your bot in a box and they'll test it, and they'll make it drive, they'll make the weapon run. But if anything was wrong or anything, you had like a couple of, maybe like an hour or so to change that, and if it was not changed by then you'd probably be disqualified. And so you had to pack all these wires and batteries and materials into a robot while keeping it below 15 pounds.
Yeah.
That was a bigger struggle, since we're like, oh, the saw isn't turning. We could probably just maybe fit like an extra motor wheel in here. Well, if we do that, we would probably exceed our weight limit, and that would be a problem. So that was probably one of the bigger obstacles.
Like the really good metals that were super durable, those are like over 15 pounds for one piece, and we had to try and put, I think most of these are aluminum. Yeah,
And this one is something else.
Yeah.
I have
And
a
so
question. Do they tell you what materials you have to include? Is it pretty open?
Yeah, it's pretty open. There's
Yeah.
not really a limit
They
on
have-
what materials
they
you
have, like,
can't use.
Kits basically, and they'll send you like the tires and like the remotes to control the robot and
And
stuff.
the driver board.
Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty much whatever.
And you don't have to use that kit.
Yeah.
Do you see yourselves wanting to continue to to be included in something like this throughout the next
Yeah.
next couple
definitely.
years, high school?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, this is a great experience for kids that are maybe like wanting or already know how to like build teamworking skills, learn how to get some hands-on work done and kind of see your creativity come to life in the form of like sparks and clashes and battles.
And these are were sixth graders last year, so this will be their second year they get to go with us this year. So we're excited to have their
You guys gonna try to get sponsors this year?
Oh
Yeah.
That's been like our main goal.
Yeah.
The past 2 meetings, sponsors.
I know. I at least walked into this knowing nothing about robotics.
Me too.
I didn't know anything about the engineering or any of that, but I can say I've learned so much about it. And now it's like, this year it's like, oh, well, we already know how to do this, this, and this, and this. So it's a lot easier.
And now we can help out our new sixth graders.
Yeah.
And so last year was our first time to the seventh graders and sixth graders, so.
So like we know how like it was when we came in like oh, I know how to use the inspect tool. I'm just that good. And then you're like starting to introduce you to all these new words and you're like, oh goodness. We're kind of going to be there to kind of help out the sixth graders if they don't really know what they're doing and like help them with the idea of how this is going to work. And because the start we had last year was to say rougher, but yeah, we just want to try and improve our results this year than they were last year.
Will the coach that helped you through this, will he come back to help again?
He's actually retired
Oh,
from this
okay.
position, so they're in the process of connecting us with a new mentor.
Okay, that's good.
One of the other challenges that we had was learning how to take apart and put it back together.
Oh, yes.
Because we had the bot built very late, so we only had a short amount of time to learn how to build it, take it apart completely, and drive it.
Yeah, I was able to like 3-ish days.
Yeah, you had
And-
days dedicated
yeah.
to putting it together and taking it apart.
I know when we got to the competition, all the robots were done, but instead of like practicing putting them together and taking it apart, we sat up in the bleachers and played Uno.
But we weren't the ones putting our bot together at the last minute. That's
They brought all their stuff, and it was, but like,
I
we
know,
had
yeah.
3 hours in advance, and we had already known how to do
They
it.
brought it. There was a
Everyone
table next
loves
to
it.
us that had a wooden bot that was like just built. It was their prototype.
Oh, yeah.
They got out.
They had, everyone had the bots like disassembled when they got here, which some people had a lot longer drives than we did to get to the competition, but we just showed up with them already put together.
Because it's like a pit stop. Once you get off your match, you're gonna have some damage done to your robot. So, and it's only a matter of time before they're calling your name up again to go into the next battle. So you gotta use like 3 different screws and be like
Yeah, we got
going
like
through
10
each one
hands
really
working
fast.
on
You
it.
got like 3 different people trying to get this undone. You got like 5-10
And
minutes.
you got the other teams bringing.
Yeah, and you got the other teams bringing. Yeah.
And
You gotta get fast at
yeah,
that.
you have like 20 minutes, but then I know for Wally at least, it's like when you try to put multiple people working on it,
It's
on
hard
the inside at
because
least
it's small.
it's so small that like it was just very frantic. Like, well, I need this tool, but I need this tool. And
Oh yeah, and we were sharing tools between
Yes,
the
we were sharing
two
tools.
bots, and so we had a bucket, 2 buckets,
Yeah.
and that was our table, and then everybody else was like had all these tools, and we were like, so we kind of scavenged around with our own stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, Wally did really good. We had wins and loses on each side. So you guys made that.
So we won our first 2 rounds, and then we lost our second one. The team that, we lost our 3rd round, and our 3rd round, the team we went against ended up getting 3rd place. So they were really good, and they just tore us to pieces.
They
were
flipped us
flying
so high.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our 4th round is we couldn't get it to start because, like I said earlier, our driver board broke, so we had to forfeit. And overall, we got 12th place out of 26. I think it's 26. Yeah.
I applaud this. I think this is awesome. I hope you keep doing it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Chosen One did pretty good too. We won our we won our first 3 rounds. Round 1 was a forfeit, and round 2 and 3 were wins off of point bases. And then round 4 we lost.
To the same ball.
Yeah, to the same ball that you guys did. And then round 5 after that, our bot had gotten a little bit knocked up, and so we couldn't get our bot to start because we use a screw to start our bot up.
We have this tiny little hole, it's like the size of your finger,
Yeah,
that
you
we have to like
put
use
a
a light
screwdriver.
and like screw it in. We were bringing our phones into the arena with our flashlights and hovering over it like
Yeah, the
this, trying to
screwdriver
get
got-
the
yeah.
screwdriver to turn them on.
Because it got jammed sideways into into that, and
funky.
so we could not get that to start on, so we had to get a forfeit for
And
round number
the
5.
team
Why do
members,
you use a screw and why is it internal?
Because well, on the internal side is protected by the exostructure side. If you're by, so it's like as soon as you don't get hit, your wires get cut or anything like that. So it's smart to do that, but I feel like
yeah, but we had the team we were competing against, which was probably our greatest friend team. They were coming over and literally we have like 30 seconds to fix it, to get it to start, and they were just coming over and they had all these people around and they were working on our bot, and they were so kind to us.
Yeah, I think it was West.
Yeah.
And even hours after, like, ours broke, we were still trying to get it to work for the last, like, they do, like, battles with a bunch of them, all of them hit at the same time. We were trying to get it to work, like, for a really long time, and they stuck with us and kept on
kind of feel like
helping us.
the robots that are not turning on or lost, they have like these big matches so that you can just get your bot shredded.
When there were these 2 college students that got knocked out of the tournament, so we just put a robot in there and let them just destroy it. And that's pretty much where like the bit saw blade and all that heavy
That's
stuff
where
came
this
from.
came from.
Yeah, because they were just
Lots of sparks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
overall,
like 10 times.
chosen one got 5th place out of 26.
And our goal for this year is to get, we don't know how many teams there's going to be, but our goal is to get both of our teams to finish in the top 10.
And as you can see, we got probably like twice the amount of members we had last year. Lots of members, which is really good.
We're going to try and grow the
Yeah.
program and involve more kids.
The more people we have, the more work we'll be able to get done in a short amount of time.
We're going to work on specializing
Yeah.
areas for drops and things this
Mhm.
year. So, and we have a new coach this year as well. Mr. Miller is joining us this year.
I'm learning a lot from them too.
Yeah, so we got all our new people, and we're going to kind of influence the people that are new so that they can kind of get going. And
When is this year's competition?
April.
mostly sometime in April.
Well, thank you all very much for coming. We really appreciate it. And
Thank you for
it's
having
wonderful
me.
to hear your enthusiasm. So that's great.
You guys can get that one.
Thanks again for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, consent agenda.
Move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Information items? Financials?
have presented for you the September financial reports. The one thing I would like to point out is this is the first month that we have prepared certified staff
questions for Ginger, financials? Construction update.
Good evening, everybody. So everybody got a tour this afternoon of the new district office space. So we're on time with that one, on budget, getting ready to move everybody in there. So all things are good. We'll get signage and some of those things put up here in the next few weeks. Overall, for the bond projects, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So DLR, the design team, is planning on having some theater equipment information to us here in the next week. So we're going to try to get theater lighting and equipment priced because it's long lead time. It won't go in until the summer, but if we can get it bought now, it gives us a while to procure those materials. And then their goal is by the end of the year to have the rest of the theater renovations designed along with the early childhood, which will go in this building, and the middle school restrooms. So those will all come to us by the end of the year. We'll bid it out in January, probably bring it to the February board meeting, and then all of that work would take place as soon as school gets out in the summer. So it'll be a big summer for renovations. And then the elementary school, the design team has done schematic design, which is kind of the first phase of that process. We've done some pricing. We're actually out right now to some of the local trade partners to get some feedback and make sure we sharpen that pricing up so we can bring back and make some decisions there. So that's the big picture. Any questions for me?
For those of you in the audience, we did have the opportunity to tour the new administration building earlier this afternoon, and it looks great, and it really is wonderful how we were able to use and reuse existing resources and all that kind of thing. So thank you for that, and excited that we're going to be able to open up this space to be used by more of our kids.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The September membership comparison.
So every September, the last Wednesday in September, we're required to take a head count, and we provide that information to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Tammy Thomas, who really does all of our data, has provided a 15-year trend, and I don't think you'll be surprised to note that with COVID, we saw some dip in enrollment. We take this membership comparison again later in the year. We'll continue to monitor and watch those trends.
Questions? All right. Second Step program.
Yes, the Family Conservancy comes in and they work with our early childhood kiddos. They do classroom lessons based on social emotional, and they use the Second Step program. It fits very nicely with different things we are starting to do in the district. It fits well with our Portrait of a Graduate. You know, it starts with the littles just being kind to each other, even starts working on their soft skills and how to address each other and you know, look each other in the eye when you're talking to each other and things like that. So it fits nicely, and we're just asking for approval of that curriculum for early childhood.
I believe that's an information item, so we don't need approval.
Okay.
But
Okay.
thank you for sharing that information. Thank you. All right. Program review, the counseling program.
And this is just a written program review. The actual presentation will be next year. One of the things that we added is just to give you, on off years, give you just a written report for your review and consideration, just to keep you updated. If you have any questions, I'm sure Jennifer's happy to answer.
Everybody have a chance to review. Any questions? Thank you. All right, moving ahead to action items. I believe we have a budget amendment.
Move to approve the budget amendment as presented.
Second.
anybody have any discussion? Want to give us an overview of this? Ginger?
Ginger, did you want to just speak to the budget? You referenced it earlier.
Yes, this is the most up-to-date revenues that we have, was the tax rate adjustments. We also had monies for children's fund. The bond issue is also formally recognized, even though we got the money in July. For expenditures, we've gone through and looked at other things that have come up since our original budget in June, which includes additional staffing, increase in contribution, or money spent on the children's fund, as well as our bond spending.
Any questions for Ginger? All in favor? Opposed? Next, we have approval of the career ladder plan.
Move to approve the KSD career ladder plan as presented.
Second.
Can I speak to this?
Sure. This career ladder plan meets the state requirements. We put in an application earlier last month. It was accepted. The application was accepted, and the state reported back that they'll fully fund career ladders. So the increments of stage 1, 2, and 3, which were $1,500, $3,000, and $5,000 respectively, there was a chance that if too many people applied, they were going to have to prorate those. They're able to fully fund, so career ladder will be funded as proposed. There was a committee representing each building in the district that reviewed the draft plan. We made some edits, and they have approved what has been set forth before the board. And then once we get this approved, we will send this out to teachers and start accepting plans.
Any questions? Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, because I know they had a tight deadline on that, so I appreciate your work in getting all that done.
It was a team effort, and I appreciate all the teachers that contributed.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the POAC Memorandum of Understanding. Mrs. Scott?
Yes, this is just continuing our work with Jamie Grayson and POAC, coming in to work with our students on their leadership program.
Move to approve POAC memorandum of the understanding as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Approval of board policies on first reading.
Move to approve board policy numbers C-140-P, G-20-P, G-25-P, S-100-P, I-1110-P, 1-125-P, 1-130-P, or the I, sorry, I-125-P, I-130-B, I-160-P, and I-185-P on the first reading as presented.
Second.
That's already been a tongue
Yeah, can I
twister.
get like that? Yeah.
Excellent.
Could you do it faster?
We watched this just for that.
Just for that.
Thanks.
This is first reading, so we'll see these again next
Yeah.
time. Anybody have any questions initially? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Item E, approval of agreement for strategic planning consultant. Miller?
Yes, so this summer, we went out to bid to actually have a consultant come in and run our strategic planning process. The bids came in extremely high. They ranged anywhere from $30,000 to upwards of $80,000. We felt like that was too much of a financial commitment for the district. We elected to run it internally, but one of the things that we wanted to be mindful of is the state has really revised our overall rating for MSIP 6. We wanted to make sure our plan and our document would meet state expectations, and we wanted to put the best document forward. Before you is an agreement, consulting agreement with Jeanette Howard. She's former superintendent of Park Hill, and she's done exceptional work to work with us on a limited basis, no more than 40 hours, just to consult us on the backside of her planning.
Move to approve the agreement with Jeanette Cowherd for strategic planning consulting services as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Program evaluation update.
Approve the gifted program evaluation as presented.
Second.
So I'm just gonna give you a quick overview of what's been happening in the gifted program over the last couple of years. The purpose of this program is to meet the needs of the students who have been identified as academically gifted. We do that through specialized services at the junior high as well as the middle school and elementary age levels. Providing those specialized materials, a suitable environment for that learning to happen, and then support for our regular classroom teachers that have these gifted students in their classes each day to